I'm Travis. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is January 10th, 2019. You know, it's by the grace of God and the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I haven't had to pick up a drink, any drugs, anything since that day, which absolutely blows my mind that I've been able to do that with this program. And the help that comes along with it, and the God as I understand Him, like, you know, I'm not a one-chip wonder, so it was only until I come in here and really gave up and surrendered to this way of life and started being willing to do the things that the people knew how to stay sober did and told me is to when my life changed. You know, I do have a sponsor. He has a sponsor. I get the opportunity to sponsor other men. You know, it's a blessing to give this thing away. So I guess just to get right into it, like I was born right down the road in Rockingham. Like really my earliest memories, I don't know my biological father, never have met the man, and didn't really understand how much that affected me in some ways until doing a 4-step and looking at it. I do remember using that thing sometime against my mom, you know, like I ain't got a daddy, you know, whatever, just crying, being a baby. You know, what I know is like, if I'm hurting, I'm going to project that hurt onto someone else too, and that was one of the ways I could do it to her, you know, and gratefully through the program, like I know it didn't have anything to do with her, you know, it wasn't her fault. But anyway, she remarried when I was 4, so like I had a dad, so I don't even know why I would use that stuff against her, you know. But he stepped into our life, and they ended up having a boy and a girl, so I got a brother and a sister. I'm the oldest of them. And, you know, like life was pretty good, man. Like I grew up in a church family. We went to church Sundays. We went to grandma's after church, the whole family, cousins, aunts, uncles, you know, all of us. But like I do know the fact, like I really was never comfortable around all that. Like I was definitely the kid who got picked on a lot, and I never stood up for myself, so that helped them pick on me some more because they knew they could do it, I think. Just no self-esteem, really had low self-worth coming up. Just didn't feel good about me, period. You know, I'd just soon be by myself doing whatever that was, you know, playing video games or hanging out, whatever. But like through this program, I look back at my life, right, and I'm eat up with all these isms way before I pick up a drink or some dope. Like doing the 4-step and really being honest about it and looking back, like I was selfish, self-centered from the beginning. I remember, you know, when my sister got born, I noticed, like, I started getting less attention and, you know, was, like, just aware of that. Like, man, I don't like this, you know, they hanging out with my sister, kind of getting pushed off to the side. I want all the attention. So school was pretty easy. Again, didn't like it. Like, I had friends and stuff, had people I hung around, but there was still, like, got bullied quite a bit. You know, just... you know, it was tough for me sometimes because I just had a hard time with that, getting picked on and all. But wasn't like any drinking in the house, drugs, none of that stuff. Like we all hung out pretty tight. You know, one of the things about my family, like we never really talked about stuff. You know, my dad's one of those, like, suck it up. You know, we stuff it down. We're not going to talk about feelings. And my mom'd always try, you know, what's wrong? What's going on? Nothing, I'm good. Like, that was a big part of my life, shit, up until today sometimes. Like, I'm good. What's wrong? I'm good. Don't worry about it. You know, when a lot of times I wasn't. But I remember her and my dad, like, they wouldn't really argue too much in front of us, but, like, if they got into something, I know he would always leave. Like, he'd peeling tires out of the house or spinning up the dirt road, taking off. Like, that was the thing, you know, running. And I didn't know how much I would inherit that trait later in life. Like, it was fear. You know, I don't want to deal with it, so I'm going to leave. Or either I'm going to push you away enough to where you want to leave. So I think first time had a drink, maybe we had a house up at Lake Tillery, and we had some family that lived like 2 houses up from us, and like they partied. I mean, it looked really cool to me at a young age. Like, I didn't know what they were doing, but you know, they got all these nice cars and boats, and they got a boathouse with like an industrial cooler that you see in stores full of beer. You just slide it up, get whatever you want. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, he's got it all. You know, there's one dude I really idolized. I remember him, David. And like he had 2 or 3 boats, all fast, pretty girls. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. And like later on, I found out he was a cocaine dealer. You know what I mean? I was like, that explains a lot. You know what I mean? Because I remember in my later years, like, you could pull some women with some drugs. I remember like breaking into his building. I'd go over there and, I'm a thief for sure. Like I ain't found a lock stop me yet. I found quite a few that slowed me down more than others. But like I go there and knock the lock off with a rock and get me some beer. Have my friends over. Let's go get drunk, man. Where we gonna get it? Oh, it's right down here. Ain't nothing. And like way before drinking, I remember going into Kmart up there in Albemarle, stealing cigarettes, sunglasses. That's when you could grab them. And like I had all kind of stupid shit, some chewing gum, some cigarettes, sunglasses. Like I take it back to the house, stash it in my suitcase, and then Mom finds it. Like that was the first time I really remember getting scared of like authorities. She was like, "Well, we're gonna go back up here, and you're gonna tell the manager what you did." It wasn't one of them stories you hear Mama gonna sit down and make you smoke every one of them. Nah, we're going back to the store. And then that dude's like, we're gonna have to call the police. He's working it up too. I'm like 8 or something. I mean, it was like really young. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to jail. I had no clue. If I knew what I know today, I'd have did a lot of my crimes before 18. But so we again, life was good, man. Later on, like I found out, like my dad cheated on my mom a lot. Resented him for a while for that. Again, it's another trait from him I inherited without even knowing it. Like I don't think I'd been in a relationship where I didn't cheat on a person up until sobriety, But today, like I can't do them things. Like that dishonest behavior, like, So I kept going through school. I remember my dad one time, we were at the movies. I tell this story a lot because that's the first time I really remember, like drinking, not so much getting drunk, but feeling a part of because of alcohol. Me and my buddy went to the movies, and 13, 14, maybe, I don't know. And he was like, man, when your dad picks us up, ask you can get us some beer. And I'm like, hell no. Like, I'm scared to death of my dad, you know what I mean? And so anyway, peer pressure. I want to fit in, right? I asked him. He's like, yeah. I mean, like it wasn't nothing. I'm scared to death to ask him. And he's just like, yeah, let's go get some beer. Sounds great. And so he go get a 6-pack. I remember he gave me 2, my friend 2. He drank 2. I got a speech about not telling my mom, whatever. And we went home. We went and drank at this graveyard right up from the house, which is still there. Mom still lives there. But it's crazy. Later in life, had a tragic event. My brother's wife got killed in that same cemetery from a drunk driver with a hit and run. Not a hit and run because it destroyed both cars, but it happened there. So I guess around like 16, like I've always been a rebellious kid, man. I was mean as shit. Like I'd get you behind your back. I remember shooting my dad's windows out with like a BB gun of his truck, busting windows out of a house. And of course I never did it. Like, did you do that? No. And a lot of other stuff. And one of the things too, like I'm really good at manipulation and being able to, if I see that something I say affects someone in a negative way, like I can push that button. Like I remember being a little kid and just verbally abusing my mom to the point she went outside and cried under a tree. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, right. Like that shit hurts today. Like that. But that's the reality of who I am without this program. Not who I was. That's who I am. Like I quit doing this, and that dude's in there for sure. Ain't a doubt in my mind. So ended up, man, like got licensed. Freedom, of course, comes with that. Where I grew up, there ain't nothing to do. Like we rode to, back then it was like the JCPenney parking lot. Then it went to Kmart. Then it went to Walmart, everywhere they kick us out from. And like grew up hunting and fishing. My dad was real redneck. So we go to the river a lot, ride trails in the woods and 4-wheel drives, and just get hammered. Like I didn't go just to drink a little, like I'm going to get hammered. And that was like my goal. If I drink, I want to get drunk. I don't want to sip at 1 or 2 to fit in. Dry goods, big part of my story, a lot of them. Try to keep it I ain't gonna get too direct with it, but found some of them, really liked it, like fell in love with it. And you know, you hear it all the time, but like when I found the alcohol and this dope and stuff, like it calmed a lot of fears. You know, like I was more open to people, stood up for myself more, felt like I could talk to people a lot better. I just felt better about me. You know, like alcohol and drugs was the solution to the problem, which is me. You know, that I learned through this program. You know, the alcohol and dope wasn't the problem, it was me. You know, I couldn't stop using it. And I'd use it and destroy everything around me. So went up through school. Once license hit, man, I kind of fell off on school. You know, I go to school, pick people up to leave and go get high and go back and sleep through a couple classes and, you know, leave halfway during the day and, you know, whatever. So 2 weeks into I was fixing to graduate and I had all the grades, wasn't really a problem. But I missed a bunch of days and my English teacher wasn't going to let me pass. She told me that I was going to have to come back for summer school. By that time I was 18 and I didn't have to have parents' permission to do anything. I said, nope, I'm not coming back. You're not going to tell me what to do. It seems like all throughout my life, you tell me not to do something, that's exactly what I'm going to do, you know. So she's telling me I got to come back just to graduate. And I'm like, who needs school? Like, where's the papers at? I'm gone. So like 2 weeks, I quit high school. Instead of just following some direction, coming back for a couple of months, and then I had a high school diploma. So I had been working, I got an auto parts business around 16, was in retail sales. Then when I quit school, I kept doing that. Then I had an opportunity to go sell wheels and tires, so I started doing that. And then that took me to Greensboro. Ended up buying a store up in Greensboro, a guy I was working for. And by this time, I mean, like, I'm using something daily. Like, not at that time I was at a physical addiction where I had to, but like I wanted to. So we ended up going to Greensboro and like, shit, that little country kid from Rockingham, you take me to the city and there's something happening 24/7. And the business I was into, I was dealing with a lot of dope boys, a lot of dirty money. And of course they want to be your friend, so you give them a deal. And like, it was just, it escalated pretty quick. But like, I loved it. I loved that lifestyle. I loved that chaos, staying up all night, trying to drag my way into work, having to get something to get going so I can work. And like, it was daily routine, you know. And it ended up like, it blows my mind looking back at it, like what my body can become tolerant to, like how much I can do and how much it takes just to get me through a day. Like it came a point where it was like I'm waking up. I got to have something. You know what I mean? Like the middle of the night. Anyway, my tolerance gets a lot worse. I'll get to that in a minute. So I got on a bunch of different chemicals, right? Like somebody tell me, what's your drug of choice? I said, what you got? Like, it don't matter to me. You know what I mean? Even the stuff that like I don't like doing because I don't like the way it makes me feel, I do it too, just so I feel different. So I got into doing a lot, and it got to a point where I didn't know it at the time, but when I would stop doing them, I'd have seizures. And I was at work one day, had the first one, and like I wake up, EMS is all around me, and my chest is killing me. I'm like, what is happening? Like I finally woke up and realized what was going on, and you know, the guy that was working with us, he was the manager of the place. He's like, dude, like I've been beating on your chest for like 5-10 minutes till the EMS guy here. He's like, we thought you were dead, dying. That's what they told me to do, right? So he's freaking out, and you know, like I never really knew how much my actions affected other people around me. Like even growing up, you know, through all my drinking, drugging, like it took a 4th step and some honest work and the help of a sponsor and good counselor and treatment to really see like how much damage I was doing around me. You know, like I scared this poor dude to death. Like he thought he done watch me die. You know, was that enough to make me stop? No, because like I can't be honest. They're like, you need to go to the hospital right now. Something's going on. I'm good. Sign my paper, like I'm good. And that's what I did, you know. And I ended up having like 4 more seizures from those things. I had one time up in, I started working for a wholesale wheel and tire company. I was up in Raleigh on the outer belt line delivering some stuff, and I had one going down the road, and man, I went down a hill, up a hill, through a sign, something else. And I remember waking up with I was in the back of an ambulance. I guess they gave me whatever. I come out of it, and 2 state troopers are standing over me. And my first thought ain't what happened, is I'm about to go to jail again. So I left this out. I started going to jail at 15, and it carried up till 38. But I'm scared to death. I knew I had some stuff in my pocket. I'm like, man, I'm going to jail. And those state troopers, I'll never forget this. He said, son, I just want to tell you something. He said, tonight somebody else was driving that van. He said, you shouldn't be here. He said, somebody else was driving that van. And he was genuinely concerned, you know what I mean? But again, I can't be honest. They take me to the hospital. You on any recreational drugs? How much you drink? A couple beers. No, I don't do drugs. I ain't gonna tell them the truth. Nah, bro, I do a mountain of drugs. No, I'm not gonna tell the doctor that. And so with that, one day I finally did tell a doctor. I'd had another one and went in there and, I got honest with him about some stuff. He's like, dude, you can't do that. He's like, that'll kill you. He's like, you cannot just stop taking that substance. And so I kind of cut back a little bit on it. Drinking still, progressing, man, I'm going to clubs. My ego just swole up so much. I was making good money for my age. I was 21, making really good money. And I would go out to these clubs where there'd be a line around the building, and I could walk straight through the front door because I knew the people. And it just swole my head up. Couldn't tell me shit. The truth was, with all that money I was making, I was still living paycheck to paycheck. I'd blow, God, man, I'm thinking of money I've blown. Over a weekend, just blow money. And lawyers too. I think, just about misdemeanors. I didn't really get into felonies till 27, 6, I don't know. Somewhere in there. But anyway, misdemeanors. 1 year, I spent $40,000 on misdemeanors. It was crazy. And I had this old lawyer up there. He used to be a judge. He got kicked down to a lawyer for being a crooked judge. I was like, that's my guy. Need that dude. Pay him and get out of it. And he did. Money gets you out of some shit. What happened? I didn't have none no more, and they charges started sticking. So it just kept progressing. I'm unemployable. I can't even work. I stay sick more than I stay drunk or high. Ended up coming down here. I say down here, I came back home to mama's, and I had my grand excuse was my family needs help. I was the type of dude, when I moved out, I didn't come home. You might see me every 6 months, maybe. So they had no clue what I've been doing or how bad things were. They think it's all good because I'm away. I've been away, always doing good. It just was not the case. So I came down here, and it's still progressing. It got worse, and they didn't need me at all. They really found out what I was about. I robbed anybody I could, did whatever I had to do to get what I needed by any means. So ended up unemployable. So I came back down here, and I had the great idea that being a criminal has got to be better than making an honest living. So I started getting into some pretty big criminal activities. It got to a point where I was breaking in businesses, stealing safes and cracking safes, and got caught with that. And they hit me with 18 felonies at one time. So again, I grew up in this family, never knew anything about alcoholism, addiction. So they just thought I was broke. Damn, why don't you quit? And I really didn't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. You would think, right? I'm running the streets. I can't put nothing together. Life is unmanageable. And still, I still keep doing it. And they couldn't understand it. Hell, I couldn't either at that point. So I got all these charges. That's the first time I'd been in some real trouble. So I go meet with this lawyer, court appointed, of course. Matter of fact, I went and met with some lawyers before, and really good lawyer in Rockingham, and he's like, dude, I'll get you out of all of it. You ain't never been in trouble. He's like, $10,000. I said, fucking, dude, if I had 10 grand, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? I'd be out on the street running still. So court appointed, but God lines it up, right? It was this dude who actually is affiliated with the treatment center down in Rockingham. He would come pick up guys, so he knew all about it, right? And he's like, dude, you need to go to detox, you need to go to treatment. It'll help your case out. And it wasn't that I didn't hear that and think, hey, I need to get some help. Like, I heard that and said, I ain't going to prison. Like, that's what I need to do. Okay, let's go. So I went to detox for the first time. That was crazy. Like, I thought I was crazy. Man, you go to the damn nut house. Like, I found out. I woke up one night, ladies in there in my room, in the bathroom, saying, have you seen my motorcycle? I said, no, it ain't in the bathroom. I can pretty much tell you it ain't there. And I was like, yeah, these people legit crazy. Like, she got some shit going on. And so that was the first run of many detoxes. But so got out of there, went to treatment, and like, it was really cool, man, because like they get in this book, they start reading it to me, and I couldn't help but relate to it. Like, intellectually, you know, like I come in here and been told knowledge won't keep you sober. So, like, I know what that means today. Like, I knew the right things to do. I just wasn't willing to do it back then. But, you know, they started reading to me out this book. This jaywalker keeps getting his legs broke, but he keeps going back. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? This phenomenon of craving, this obsession. Like, if I ain't drinking or using, that's all I'm thinking about is drinking and using. And if I'm drinking and using, all I'm thinking about is the next one. And how when I put one in me, like, I can't quit. Like, I don't quit. I go to any length to get the next one. So, like, it all made a lot of sense. And I grabbed onto it the first time. This was 2012. And so I came in and I did it. I got a sponsor, graduated program. Went to meetings. And, like, life got good. Looking back at it, one of the biggest things I messed up was honesty. And I like to share that because I came into Alcoholics Anonymous and I thought I was not supposed to talk about drinking. Like, damn, I'm thinking about drinking, but I sure ain't going to tell you. And like, that's the exact opposite. I've been drinking and drugging for 20 years. Of course, that's what I'm thinking about. But back then, my ego, I guess pride maybe was in the way. Like, I want you to think I'm doing really good. I'm not struggling with the thought of a drink or a drug, you know, and having a reservation that maybe, you know, I get out of this stuff and life gets back better. I probably drink one, you know, maybe it'll be different. That insanity creep back in. Like, it ain't going to be the same. It's going to be different. It ain't never been different. It's always the same with me. So, did that for a little bit. Ended up, had the idea, you told me, change people, places, and things. And, after a while, I was doing pretty good. License back, car, looked a little better on the outside. Inside was probably still rough, for sure. But I had the thought, man, I'm going to go see them fellas. Hang around my buddies. They can do that. They can drink a little bit, use a little bit, and they don't destroy their lives like I do. But I was like, man, I'm going to show them how good I'm doing. Doing a little better now. And, again, not being honest. I never told my sponsor that. Like, yeah, dude, I'm hanging out down here at my buddy's poker house, just chilling, playing poker after work from working at a treatment center. You know what I mean? Like, I was blessed and was able to go to work for that treatment center for a short period of time because I ended up relapsing. But, what happened? I'm just sitting there and it's going around. I'm like, I'm good. And then the day came, I was like, fuck it. Let me hit it. And it was over. I look back, I'm like, damn, that was quick. You know what I mean? Like, it started with, I'm just going to smoke a little pot. So it ain't very long, I'm going to what I know how to do. And it didn't take long to turn to shit again. So, and what I've learned about me is, like, when I pick up, I am hard-headed. I envy people to come here and get a white chip and show up 2 days later and get another one. Because I am not that guy. I pick up as 3 years. Every time. It takes 3 years of pain and misery before I am willing to come back. And it's been that way. So again, 16. Come in. Hell, that was 4 years. So y'all don't even know. 16. Ended up again. I've been to multiple detoxes in between this time, but I get feeling a little better. My shit, it ain't that bad. Go back home. Over. It don't take long. So 16, I went to detox, went to this transition house for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to do this. And then I got back to Rockingham, and the obsession to use hit me and drink like I ain't never experienced, because I'm not one that deals with that obsession very long, because I go get it. And this time I was trying not to, and like it was all over me. I remember all the counselors talking to me. Like everybody's just like, dude, don't leave. And I'm like, man, I got to go. And I did. Like, I was there 2 days that time and was out. And, of course, Mom's coming to pick me up. So, that's the only one I got. She's the only one that's hanging in there. And as soon as she picks me up, I'm taking her car with her crying. She knows where I'm going. Like, she knows. And so 2019 come around, and all these times, man, it's getting worse and worse. Like, dude, I got to the point, I don't care about eating. I don't care about hygiene. Like, I'm bouncing from house to house. I got a mom that I could stay there and have a warm bed, meals, all that. Nah, I choose to be on the streets doing what I do. And I got down like 165 pounds, beard, hair everywhere, face sunk in, my teeth falling out. It was rough. It was miserable. It was miserable. But again, being content with that lifestyle, I lived that way for quite a while, because it's just what I know. And it was hopeless too. It ain't gonna get no better. You know what I mean? My family's real religious, and I tell them, God ain't got nothing for me. Why would this dude want anything to do with me, with the way I've been living my life? And what I know today is he had a plan the whole time, for sure. He knew I was hard-headed. Hey, you got to whip my ass before I surrender, and big time, multiple times. And looking back, man, in relapses, there's just learning experiences. When I just look back at it, I say it a lot. Today, I know a lot of what not to do to stay sober. Through learning and trying. And it helps me too with behaviors start creeping up today. I'm man, I better change something. This ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna end up good. So came back in 19 and went back through treatment again, and dude, just so eat up with ego and false pride. I walk in the door the day of treatment. I'm telling other people how to stay sober. Hey man, yeah, hell yeah, I know what to do, bro. You gotta work these steps. Let's check it out. And they're what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And counselors telling me, they're dude, you in here too. You know what I mean? You probably don't know much more than they do right now. Because again, I've heard it. Knowledge will not keep me sober. Hell, I knew what to do. I just wasn't willing to do it. So sitting there about the first week, and I've known all these guys and I've known them for years, And I remember going into group one day, and those of you who've been there, they have peer evaluations, you know what I mean? It happens on your third week. Well, I go in there, mine happens on my first. I was all hyped up. I like taking people's inventory. So I'm yeah, we're going to do a peer evaluation today. And they're yeah, we're going to do one on you. I'm fuck, man. So I'm grateful they did, but it really hurt my feelings. It pissed me off because they told me the truth. But I guess, I ain't going to say moment of clarity, but it just, whatever happened, you know what I mean? I was willing to listen to them and be open-minded. And I pissed off, pouted for a couple of days. Fuck all y'all. I ain't talking to nobody for a couple of days, whatever. And then I remember really just getting after it, keep my mouth shut. Because I'm this dude in class, I want to answer every question. Look at me, my ego, right? I know the answer to that. And I just shut up. I was doing chores. I want to help everybody out. Come on, man, look at me. And, I had to be taught things dude, you ain't helping somebody by doing their chore. He's you enabling them. Because they ain't learning shit. You know what I mean? No accountability, no responsibility. And I was all right, I get it. You know what I mean? And it came a point, I'm dude, you tell me what to do. I'm tired of this shit. I was 38 this last time when I come in. I'm just sick of it. That's it. You hear it all the time. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's the best way I can describe it. I was just tired of it. And so got in there, started listening a lot more, learning a lot. Graduated, was able to come up here to a recovery home, stayed over at one in front of Aberdeen School. And I remember the first night I got out, I walked in here, and I knew people here. And walked in here and, hey, how you doing? And guys yeah, what you up? Telling me, yeah, they stuck me over at the Aberdeen house. He said, damn, we got one of them. I said, damn. I felt bad about it. I was he's right. I ain't just stuck nowhere. I had the opportunity to be there. People dying today, and I get to go to a recovery home. But that's just my attitude. I got sick, man. I'm still sick. So grateful people love me enough in this building and in these rooms to tell me the truth and to try to help me grow. And to not get so. There's been a lot of people piss me off. It's all right. I've pissed off a lot of people. I've been called an asshole in this building a couple times. But that's okay. Those people that kind of pissed me off are telling me the truth. Truth hurts sometimes. I don't want to hear it. But then I'll process it. With some time, I'm man, you was right. I remember staying in a recovery home, and Big rule, right? No relationships. No relationships. Somebody giggling. No relationships. First year or through the 12 steps, if you wasn't in one. And what do I do? Running the roads with a girl. Ain't supposed to be. And then, that affects my roommates too. I remember staying out past curfew. Coming in, he sitting on the couch. Hey, man, this is bothering me, dude. Again, my actions affecting others around me by not following some rules. Because they have to sit there and, possibly lie for me. I don't think he would have, but if it had came up, why am I going to put him in that position when I could just be following directions? I remember sitting here talking at the coffee pot, and I'm like, I was telling somebody what I was doing. Look, dude, I'm messing with this girl. I ain't supposed to be. And he said, you know why it bothers you, right? I said, not really, because I'm used to doing wrong. And it didn't bother me before, really. I say that, but it did. I knew. But he said, because you're trying to work a spiritual program of action. I was like, that's it. For sure. And I had to get honest with some people. I told my sponsor about it, and then he throws at me, well, you got to call Barry and tell him what you're doing. I said, fuck that. Nah. I don't think you understand my situation here. This is the biggest rule that's going to get me kicked out of the house I'm staying at. You got to catch me. I'm that dude. You got to catch me. I ain't about to tell you nothing. But I did. After about 2 days of that stuff in my head, processing, I'm like, I don't like this. And I always heard growing up, my grandma just tell me the truth. It'd be easier on you if you tell me the truth. We ain't doing that. I don't know if you want to know. You might not can handle it. But so that's what I did, right? And I done played this thing out in my head. Man, I'm my own worst enemy. I'll make up a story in my head or a situation, and I done played it out 3-4 times, and I know how it's going to go. And then I tell him, and he wasn't happy, But he didn't kick me out. Because what I know is people in here understand. I ain't the most healthy dude when I come in here. Life ain't great. And I'm like, shit, I think I'll go to AA today, Let me go to treatment again. Things are all right. So when I come in, man, I just, a lot of stuff carrying with me. So I did that and talked it out with him, and it was cool, and it was nice to be able to kind of tell somebody the truth and just get it off of me. That's what I hear in here. More room on the outside than the inside. I'm not bottling stuff up like I used to all through my life up until when I was willing to come in here and do that. And I'd made those mistakes prior in recovery. Not being honest, not telling somebody the truth. I don't know, feelings ain't the best thing I like to talk about, how I'm feeling, what I'm doing. But pain's a great motivator. And good sponsorship and good people. Some things when I came out of colony, they were like, stick with the winners. Get you a home group. 90 and 90. Get a sponsor. And that's what I did. I came up here, I made this group my home group. Got involved in service work, because that's what they told me to do. Get active. He said, go to meetings, shake people's hands, ask them for their phone numbers. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I really like that. I met a lot of people selling them raffle tickets, making coffee, hanging out, cleaning up, doing activities that happen here. It was cool being part of, because I was not part of anything. There wasn't many people calling, checking on me. So being able to come into this and feel the love and the fellowship has been a huge part of my recovery. It still is. There's a bunch of people sitting here today. I know families, kids, dogs' names. It means the world to me, for sure, because I didn't have that. So ended up, I come in too, I got this probation, I got to pay, I ain't got no lie, I got all this stuff happening that I think is the end of the world, right? I got to get a job so I can pay this, and y'all would always tell me, just do AA. Just do AA, it'll work out. I'm like, but you don't understand. Just do AA, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be all right. No, you don't get it. What I know today, y'all get it, for sure. That's my stuff when I first come in, and I don't want to believe you. I got trust issues, right, because I'm a thief. I'm an untrustworthy individual, so why would I come in here and trust what somebody else says? But I started to. Sponsor was a big one. Y'all are. A lot of people today, man, I'll tell them whatever. You better be careful what you ask me sometimes. How you doing? Well, where you got to be in a little bit? Like, how much time you got? But like, I found I've grown so much by being honest and telling that. And sometimes I feel like I'm bitching, and maybe I am, or complaining, and some people don't want to hear it. But like, there's certain people that like, hey, I'd rather get some help putting it out there than walking around stuffing it in. Because stuff like that, like, it'll lead me to a drink or a drug eventually. So, ended up having some people in here give me a chance. What happened? So I was staying over there, right, and I'm stressing this job, man. I'm like, shit. And they told me, like, man, 3-second prayer, I learned that. Because when I got here, I felt like I was losing my damn mind. Like, when I put the dope down, my mind would not quit running. And I'm sitting over there in an apartment by myself. The other guys have been there, they working. And they tell me, say the 3-second prayer. God help remove this obsessive thoughts. I'll be a maximum service to you and others. And then they tell me to call somebody, and then they tell me to move a muscle. So, like, that's what I did. When I first got here and all them numbers I had, I'd hit somebody up. How you doing? Or, I'd go over there and wash windows. Or I'd walk my ass to a meeting 3 times a day. And that's what I did. I couldn't tell you. Like, it got to the point my sponsor told me, and I don't know, it's just what he told me. He said, man, you ain't got to be there every time the door's open. But, like, I was scared. And I felt good here. I ain't never been to a meeting felt worse than when I got here. Ever. I've seen some crazy shit happen in meetings, you know what I mean? Which sometimes those are kind of fun, but like, I ain't ever come in and felt worse leaving. I enjoy this. I get out the car, I walk down here, and like, I feel better immediately. So that's what I did. Came to a bunch of meetings here, and it's cool, the diversity in this building, like between 7:30, 12, night meeting, whatever. You know what I mean? It was really fun. I learned a lot, man, like so much, just through being open-minded and through sharing, telling somebody the truth. Like, I remember early on, like, I come in and I look at the table if I'm sharing, and then it got where I could look at you a little bit when I'm sharing. Like, it took some time. That's the biggest thing I used to miss in recovery, time. Like, I'm an alcoholic, I want to feel better now. And that ain't my story. Like, it takes some time, some work, some steps. But like, I remember, you share in here, you look around, you see if you're on the right track or not. You see them old timers shaking this down. I'm like, yeah, that ain't right. Or they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm getting it, But like, it's through sharing, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only way I was able to do that. And come in here and puke whatever on the table. I had a woman sitting right there one morning on Sunday. She told me, we were sitting there sharing about something. I think a topic I brought up, it's the first time I had spoke, right? And I was like, man, I was all in my head after I spoke. Like, damn, I should have said this, should have said that, keep me up at night, And she said, you know what? She went to share, and she said, God's put this on my heart, so I'm going to tell you, you ain't that damn important to me. I was like, I was so mad. Like, I felt it. My face was red. I'm going to kill this bitch, right here. But like, that was early on, you know what I mean? But she was right. And like, I get that today. Like, man, the room's going to go on with or without me, Ain't that big a deal. That's me. I make it like that. So I got kicked out of halfway house about 6 months into it. Follow direction. I wasn't doing it. I wasn't at a point of pausing when agitated or doubtful at that time. And my mouth tends to get me in trouble, and it did. Still working these steps, man. Finally, like, people started to trust me. It was crazy. I wasn't here long. And like, I remember guys like, hey man, you house sit at my house for the weekend. We going out of town. I'm like, like, you know who I am, bro? Like, that's crazy. But I guess, like, really, I was trying. And people see that. And I can see it today. You see somebody come in trying. You know what I mean? And I do the same thing. Like, that's what they tell me to do, help others. And I give anybody a chance. We've had people at our house steal from us, and we've had people that don't. But I give anybody a chance. Try and do better. A lot of people did that for me here. So recovery goes on. Like, things are good, man. Kind of skipped ahead quite a bit. Like, got in a relationship 4 years ago almost now. And like before that, I was kind of bouncing around. But that's been it's been a blessing. So I remember a lot of times in my life thinking, ain't no way somebody wants me. and to have this program change me into a person that somebody does, like, means a lot. Not only for her, for our family, right? Like, my dad stepped into my life as a stepdad and a dad, and like, I get to do it for her kids. And I get to walk in the door after work and have a little 4-year-old tell me she loves me. Hey, Daddy. That's unimaginable to me before I got here. Like, I was so hopeless and lost. Like, there's just no way my life can be like that. No way. And the things I get to do today. We had a birthday party for my nephew today, and one of my cousins were there, and I hadn't seen her, I guess, man, probably 20 years maybe. You know what I mean? And she was like, this is crazy watching Travis with some kids. Because, like, I'm sitting here and I got all these kids around me as I'm fixing fishing poles, one after the other. I'm like, man, this is like the life. Like, I'm not that dude without this program who can do stuff like that. Like, I burn it down. I remember my niece and nephews following me around their house waiting to see what I'm going to steal. And then I leave, and my brother's calling me like, damn, dude, why are you taking the kids' medicine? And I'm like, sorry, I'll see you later. Go back over there. Just, man, the life I had to live to just get what I needed to get, it was horrible. Horrible. And, the relationships I have today, man, it's, like, it means so much to me. Like I say, there's a lot of people in here tonight. Like, it ain't just here. A dude said at one time, he's like, we get these last names in AA. Hell, I can't go to the hospital and say, what room's Jonathan J in? I'm going to say, who the fuck is Jonathan J? But I can go in there today and say, where's my buddy? I know his last name. There's a lot of you sitting there. I know your last names. I know your kids. I remember going to the men's spiritual retreat's been a big deal for me because I think I was like 3 months sober when the first one hit, when I had come out. And, man, like, it was awesome. I go up there, I got this thing, there's meetings in the morning, we sit and we do this meditation in a circle with a group of guys. And then there's meeting throughout the day, there's food all day long. My boy Chris, he cooking it up. You ain't got to worry about eating. And like speaker meeting on that Saturday night. I remember the first time I spoke there, man, it just blew my mind. Like, it was such a spiritual experience sitting around a fire with a circle of dudes, sharing experience, strength, and hope. Like, I'll never forget it. Like, there's something to it. Or we sit out there with our friends, and I got our stepson. I call him my stepson. We ain't married, y'all know that. But, like, he calls me a stepdaddy, so we'll go with it. Like, we on the boat, in the water's smooth as it can be. The moon's shining. We got some catfish rods in the water. And it's me, maybe Vic, little Vic, Nate, Chris. Like, man, it's just, like, I see the beauty of life today. My perception of life has changed so much. The things that, like, make me happy. And, not being so selfish. Like, a lot of things I do, I don't want to do. That's just the truth. But I do them because I have to be there for others. I got responsibilities today, people to count on me. And I keep coming in here because I don't want to be the dude that lets them down. Because I know from my experience, when I quit coming here, when I quit being a service, I'll pick up eventually. I can't say it'll be next week, 6 months, a year. Hell, I don't know. I know it comes, though. Some point, it's going to come. So like, AA, by far, is the best thing I've ever done in my life. Hands down. Ain't no doubt in my mind. Like, when I do that gratitude list, that's the first thing on it. Thank you, God, for sobriety. Not Jess, not the kids, not anything else in life, sobriety. Because what I know today is if I put sobriety first, all them other things come. Just like y'all told me, if I do AA, this works out. And it has. It really does. I get stressed out a lot with life. It's just the way it is. I was talking to a buddy one time about life stuff, because like AA to me today is, of course, it's to stay sober, but like it's so much more than that. Teaching me to live life, be a human being, learning things that I don't know. And I don't mind asking people, like I tell, I don't know. Before I bullshit my way through it, but today I'm like, man, I don't know, I need some help. How do I do this? And that's a miracle for me, man, to be able to be willing to do that, because I've learned so much by doing it. Yeah, so, I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. If you're struggling, find somebody, talk to them, get honest. There's a lot that goes along with that for me. Whoever it's got to be. You know, that retreat, I got a buddy of mine I met, man, and we've been good friends ever since I met him 5 years ago. And like he's one of the dudes. Do I have a circle that like I'll tell them the truth, man. God, it feels good to be able to call somebody and I can just tell them how I'm feeling or what I'm going through. You know, with life stuff, like I don't know. And I'm really blessed by the people that have been put in my life. You know, like today I run into Brad, like that's God. That's 11th step. I can see that today, like that's God stuff. Like I'm really grateful God's had a plan for me this whole time. And today I get to experience it. You know, to be able to put faith in Him. Faith gets me through the day. You know, I got a buddy who said, God brought me through the 12 steps. 12 steps brought me to a God of understanding. Like I know what that means. You know, because like there's some days, like it's hard to put another foot in front of the other. Like I feel like giving up. Fuck, I can't do this. And I'm like, nah, there's a reason. That faith. I'm going through this for some reason. You know, whatever it may be. It's a lot of stuff. But I'm out of time. I'm grateful to be here. Grateful y'all here. Thank y'all for letting me share.